Hola amigos, are you ready for the life-changing adventure? This is Camino de Santiago 2023 guide, which you probably will get everything you have to know about tips, advices, where to stay, what to do, as well as the common mistakes done by pilgrims. We are Caminotellers and I'm your host Ricky, and together with our community of more than 7,000 people, we combine the information to make your journey unforgettable, transformative, and simply unique. Pack your bag, lens your shoes, and get yourself a cup of tea or coffee and get ready for Camino de Santiago guide for 2023. Let's go! Did you know the Camino de Santiago has been walked for more over 1,000 years? That's a lot of blisters. In this section we're gonna go through preparation for Camino de Santiago from the historical and geographical point of view, knowing about origins of the Camino as well as the main routes and the common landmarks. Camino de Santiago is a Christian rooted journey starting in the 9th century with the discovery of remains of Saint James the Apostle by the shepherd Santiago, and then he goes to the bishop, and then the bishop goes to the king, and then the king goes to the place, figure out that there might be actually a St. James, and he decides to build a big church, Cathedral of Santiago, and that's how it starts. Since then, many people decide to walk Camino de Santiago for various reasons. What are your reasons? Put down in the comment your reasons of your Camino de Santiago. Is it a health related thing? Is it a religious related thing? Is it good food religious thing? Or you simply want to get a little break from your in-law, which is totally understandable. And what are the main routes of Camino de Santiago and which Camino should you choose? And I will pretty much make my suggestion of fitting the Camino de Santiago to your days off. So depending how many days you have, if you have 35 days to go, you can choose the most famous French Camino. Martin Sheen did it, Paulo Coelho did it, and you will do it as well. That's the beautiful journey through the most renowned UNESCO heritage route. But if you have a 35 days plus, you can also take the Camino del Norte, which passes through the coast of Spain, crossing 4 different regions: Basque Country, Cantabria, Asturias, and Galicia. Or maybe looking for something more survivor thing, there is a Via de Plata, the Camino that only 5% of pilgrims does every year, and it starts in the south of Spain and then goes up. But if you don't have 35 days of walk, why wouldn't you try something less? With 2 weeks only, you can start Camino Portuguese from Porto, or you can do Camino Primitivo, as well as you can do the last 100 kilometers from Ferrol, English way, from Sarria, the French way, or from Tui, the Portuguese way. It depends on you. But as I told you, 60% of pilgrims, they decide to choose the French way because of its famous landmarks. And talking about landmarks, I have to tell you that there are many places that you cannot miss on neither of these caminos. We have Cruz de Ferro, where you go and leave the stone. You know about stone, no? If you don't know about stone and tradition of a stone, maybe you want to check our guidebook. We have many questions and answers about Camino de Santiago. That's an ebook version. You can put it on your favorite device. You can phone your Kindle or just simply PDF version. We have it as well. And you can simply prepare well for Camino de Santiago. It costs a price of the coffee. So it's a totally no-brainer not to get it. So we have a Cruz de Ferro, we have a Finisterre, we have Astorga, we have León, we have Pamplona as well, we have Bilbao. You choose it. There are so many places you cannot miss, but you know, I'm not gonna spoil it to you. You have to come and check it on your own. So once you know where you want to go. Maybe it's a good idea to know when you want to go, because either of these caminos will have a different temperature and weather conditions. And this is the Camino weather guide, March. Gore-Tex, April. May. No Gore-Tex, June. July and August. September. With or without Gore-Tex. October. Gore-Tex or hiking boots. November till February. And this is Camino weather guide. It's important to know that you're correctly prepared, and all you have to do, you have to follow the advices of what not to do in this part of this video. And remember, we've been there, we've done it, and we regret it. So don't do the same mistakes as us. And now maybe you ask yourself, okay, I know where to go, I know when to go. What do I need? Do I have to prepare physically for my Camino de Santiago? And the answer is easy. Do you have to prepare for the marathon? Camino de Santiago, it doesn't matter if it's 120 kilometers or it's 820 kilometers, requires the previous preparation, especially if your lifestyle is not correlated to walking daily. In the preparation process, you have to work on your habit of walking. And simply walk and walk and walk. Start with 1, 2, 3 days a week and add 2 or 3 hours. And once you get used to walking and 2-3 times a week, add an extra day. If you get to the weekend, have a longer weekends, maybe 5 hours on Saturday and 5 hours on Sunday. See how your body reacts to prolonged effort. And then you can add the backpack and experiment. Go walking in the rain, going in the sun. Be prepared for any condition, because harder you train for Camino, the easier Camino will be. Doesn't matter actually which Camino you choose. Norte, Francés, Portuguese, few other ones over there. It's gonna rain. Oh, let's see. There's indication of how much we have left to Santiago. And then you walk for so long at home, and then you say, do I need some extra equipment? And there are 3 pieces of equipment I strongly recommend, starting with shoes, socks and backpack. Obviously, you need to fill the backpack with extra equipment like fast drying trousers, fast drying t-shirts and fast drying wherever you have to take. But for more of this information, because it's a total new chapter, go to the video which will be just over there. This is the guide of preparation packing for Camino de Santiago. Important. But talking about shoes, choose the shoes according to your Camino. If you decide to climb the mountain, you probably will go for the hiking boots. If your Camino is more of a walking in the plain surfaces and playing on the asphalt like a road thing, maybe you consider the trail runners. And if you're walking in the summer, maybe you consider the hiking sandals. So we have a good video about it just over there. If you still haven't subscribed, that means that you've been sleeping before, or you've been doing something else. But this is a good time to subscribe as well, to comment down below which is your Camino and when are you starting. We maybe meet on the way. If we meet on the way, let's talk, let's laugh, let's play the guitar, because I'm gonna take my guitar with us. So now you walk for some time at home, you checking out your shoes because you have to break in your shoes. You figure out is your bag good for your body type, and this is according to the torso length. If you don't know what is that, check in the description, we have a beautiful video about that. And you're thinking, how hard is to walk the Camino? What do I do if it's too hard for me once I'm there? So the next plan, the next preparation thing would be figuring out how to take care of your health, because it's all about safety, guys. If you're gonna have some injury, it's better to be prepared. Travel insurance, if you have some, you're fantastic. They have a lovely doctors in Spain, so don't even worry. But if you don't have a travel insurance, check your credit card providers. They probably have some travel insurance included in the service. If not, put down link in below if you know any good travel insurance, and if we figure out any good, we'll also put the link just down there. Some money is necessary. You can change it in the airport, you can change it wherever you live, in the exchanging place, and take some, because in the small villages, wherever you go, there might be a limit on the credit card, as well as the villages might not accept always a credit card. We have donation-based albergues, hostels, we have private albergues, hostels, and the public ones as well, and we have hotels and Airbnbs. So depending of your needs and depending of your commodity and how much you can accept, you choose accordingly to 3 different types of accommodations. But let's go more with the preparation. How will I advise my family members about me being away and they're gonna be worried? You can get a SIM card here in Spain. You can get it for $10, $15, $20, euros, whichever you use, and it will have enough data to call your family, to call your friends and anyone else. But remember, choose the provider in the country that you will spend the most time with, because Camino French, although it's named French way, it has only 1 stage in France and the rest in Spain. Do I need to speak Spanish on my Camino? And the answer, it's not really straightforward, because you might need the Spanish to get fuller experience of Camino de Santiago. You talk to locals, you talk to your fellow pilgrims from Spain, but not necessarily, because Camino, it's a common thing, and people which are working on the Camino and visiting the Camino, they already speak English.
Hey, Brigitte, how are you? Brigitte? Brigitte, don't go!
If you want to get some extra classes and lessons, we have a membership option with Spanish classes. I talk to locals every day. But if you don't, you will be fine with the Google Translate. And there was the one word you will have to know. It's a sello. And the sello, it's a stamp that you're going to put in your credential, which is a pilgrim's passport that you will have to take with you, which will signify that you're actually a pilgrim. With this pilgrim's passport, you can enter any albergue and you can stay there as a pilgrim. Otherwise, you're simply a guest. Where should I get those pilgrim's passports? Probably you can get them in the main cathedrals and churches all over the Camino. Wherever you start, you just go to the main church, you can get it, as well as many of the albergues, hostels, hotels where you will stay, they can provide you one. And it's something like that, which you can see in the back. You're gonna put the stamp in every place that you go, then you can come back home and you can see where you've been, what you've done, and you can tell your friends and your family about everything. So what makes you actually a pilgrim? A part of the pilgrim's passport, you also have a shell attached to your backpack, and that could be a beautiful way of recognizing you wherever you go and recognizing other pilgrims. And you know, with being pilgrims, there's a good vibe always. So whatever problems you have, whatever you need, maybe a piece of something, you can also ask someone with a shell in the backpack, and they'd be more than happy to help you. But how to find those pilgrims? How to find the way on Camino de Santiago? All along the way you will find the yellow arrows. Those arrows, as well as the shells, will indicate you the way or where to go. There are also blocks called mojon, which will indicate exact how much distance you have left. And if you start with 820 and suddenly you see yourself with 260, you're gonna cry like a baby because you're not gonna believe you did so much. Wow. And once you're on the trail, there will be lots of surprises around. So follow those tips that we're gonna share in this part, and hopefully you will survive the adventure of your lifetime. Hopefully. First of all, fly to the main airports in France, in Paris or in Madrid, so you can get easily a plane, train or a car to any place that you want to start. Like from Madrid you would go to Pamplona, and from Pamplona to Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port, or from Paris you would go to Biarritz, and from Biarritz to Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port. And if your adventure is a bit shorter, like Sarria, probably you would like to get to Madrid, and from Madrid get a train, plane or a bus to Santiago, which will take you to Sarria in 2 hours and a half. And now we're starting the part 2, which is the part of surviving on the Camino de Santiago, because for many of us it's the matter of surviving. And before that, before we even start, I have to remind you to put down the comment where you're from and which Camino is your Camino when you start, and maybe you can see some of the friends will join together and we can create a beautiful community. Okay, the principles of survival: food, water and shelter. What should I eat? Where should I drink? And where should I stay? That's a long story, guys. Probably the breakfast will be provided in your accommodation, which we talked about in a few seconds. And then on the way you can have a first breakfast, a lunch, as well as the dinner wherever you get. Normally people walk during the first hours of the Camino, and they stop and they enjoy. Just to let you know, Camino de Santiago is not a race, take it easy. So if you start in the morning, maybe you get to the place 1 and 2 in midday, you have a lunch, you relax, then you have some fun with the pilgrims, you have your dinner, and then you go to sleep ready for another day. There is nothing to rush. And the Camino, there are special places where you can get the pilgrim's menu, which is the specially composed meal on the special price, normally made with all local ingredients, with the local recipes, that you can enjoy the rich culture of Spain, France or Portugal. Okay, we were supposed to talk about water today, about the drinking water, which you can find in any fountains all over the Camino. But instead of the drinking water, we're going to talk about weather water, which is the rain. Just look at that. Is the water good to drink on Camino? You can get water probably everywhere. You can drink it from the street fountains if they are provided with the drinkable water. Otherwise, you can ask in the bar for filling your bottle with water with the tap water, which is also drinkable. But it's not the only thing you could drink on the Camino. You probably could drink coffee, as well you could drink a nice crafted non-alcoholic beer or wine. Understood, no? One of the first things before actually I start to walk Camino, I give myself 2 extra days before start. So I get to the place, and before rushing the next day to walk the Camino, I stay in the place, I'll enjoy the vibe of Camino, I feel the atmosphere, I talk to people, I get rid of a jet lag and any other rush that I brought with me from wherever I came from, and then the next day the first day of acclimatization is the paramount to make your Camino directed a good way, because you don't want to rush through your lifetime experience. You just want to enjoy in the slow way. Isn't it true? Where should I stay? Depending everything of how much money you have. As I told you before, we have a donation-based albergues, not free, donation-based, so you live wherever you feel comfortable with. As well, we have some municipal. We also have municipal albergues. They accept people as first come, first served, so you sometimes have to wake up a bit early to get to those places before any other pilgrim. Or maybe you use the private albergues. Sometimes it's good to stay in the private albergues because they're more comfortable and they have a blankets as well. So sometimes it's even recommended, if the days are cold and you don't have the sleeping bag with you, stay with a private albergue and you're not gonna feel cold, like for example in April or October. And also there are hotels if you don't like to stay with everyone in the same room, because albergue means staying with everyone in the same room. Maybe you just go for the private quarter just for you and your friends. Private bathroom, that's also a way. But live your adventure to the fullest, and once or twice stay with everyone. You'll see how that snoring feels and what is the pilgrim smell, which after 1000 kilometers, every pilgrim has its unforgettable Givenchy Chanel numéro 5. One of the biggest examples of Camino de Santiago was 87 years old gentleman from the south of Spain. He did his 17th Camino and he used to walk 15 kilometers daily. It was enough. So he used to wake up, he started before 11, he was in the next place where he stayed, and then he enjoyed the place. You can do this, you can do more. But remember, that's not the race, that's not the marathon. Otherwise, you would simply do a marathon, would you? And what happened if my bag is too heavy? It happened that you didn't prepare your bag correctly. Maybe you consider to send some of the parts of your bag home. Like for example, extra things that you're not gonna use, makeup, rímel, and this extra pair of socks that probably you're never gonna use in your life. Who knows? I had to send my bag once or twice because of the injury of my knee, and I wanted to finish the Camino de Santiago. So I preferred to send back to the next stage rather than take all the heavy bag with me and risk a bigger injury. So it is possible. The service of sending the bag, depending on the Camino, can cost you from 8 to 15 euros a stage. So think about it. But prepare before. Don't take too much. Don't take too little. Check your bag before. This is the preparation important. So don't skip the preparation part, because then you will suffer at Camino.
Okay, so what's the story today with this physical preparation? I have misjudged the places you can stay today, so I'll be walking around next 15 kilometers to Villanova de Arousa, which is the new village of the Rose. 15 more kilometers and I already have one, which I've been walking for some time. That could happen, especially if you go without preparation, if you don't know the route like me, or if you let yourself be guided by the intuition. So sometimes you have to put some extra kilometers, and for that reason the physical preparation helps.
Preventing the blister was described in the first part as choosing and breaking in the correct shoes, as well as choosing the good socks, hiking socks. If you wear the merino socks, your feet never gonna smell, which is also a big plus. But another thing to know, that before you walk any Camino, you can put a bit of Vaseline on your feet, or the almond oil if you're more into nature, and that will prevent you from having rashes all over your foot. Once you get to albergues, take your shoes off, put them into cold water, make a massage, treat them well, give them flowers and chocolates. No, not this one, but treat them well. The taking care of your feet, it's paramount when taking care of your journey. And then you walk, 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 and you walk a bit more, and you walk a bit more, and then you get to Santiago. So many pilgrims decide to get to Santiago for their matter of credential. There's like a diploma that you get called Compostela. And for this credential, you need stamps. Everywhere you go, you need to take a stamp. And if you're starting in Sarria, probably you have to take 2 stamps daily. And once you get to Santiago, this one I cannot tell. This one you have to live on your own. You're never going to be alone. You can choose to walk in silence, you can choose to walk away of people, but you're never alone, because first of all, there are plenty of people from all over the world on the Camino, and they're all pretty much open to conversations and happy. That's a different types of tourism. This is actually a pilgrimage. That's an inner journey that can enrich you, and the subject that you can convey during the Camino, you're not going to talk with anyone anywhere. You can easily talk about death, about joy, and about even a God during the Camino de Santiago, which probably you wouldn't in the queue somewhere in the supermarket buying the carrots, no? Would you? Guys, you see, I know it was a quick guide, I know, but there's lots of things to actually say. But the best way to learn is actually to experience. So for many other details that you need, that you want, get to our guidebook. We have it, we launched it as a 5-star on Amazon. If you don't have a Kindle, you can simply download the PDF as well and go to the comments. There will be many of the interesting ideas and tips that you can find about Camino de Santiago. And one thing I have to promise you, or you promise me, if you see us on the way, give us a big hug. Camino Adventure is all about the community. It's all about the inner growth. It's all about discovering world around you and yourself. So if you're there and if it helped you in some way, tell it to us, share a bit of a time and a bit of a love, and let's enjoy the Camino together. The Camino is calling.